pain, anguish, torture. On this episode of Horror Face Off, it's the original Saw versus the original Terrifier. It's time to stop clowning around and play the game. On this episode, your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete from the Horror Chronicles, Sydney, owner of Nightmare Toys, Chris. They join the Horror Face-Off slasher, Leighanne, and me, your host, Jason.
Hey everybody, welcome to Horror Face-Off. Today we have the original Saw versus the original Terrifier, and we've loaded up our panel with amazing, obviously, gore enthusiasts, so that's what we love on this show. So let's just explain quickly what this show is about.
We take two horror films and match them up against each other. Using specific categories, the show's fearless panelists dissect every bone-chilling detail. In the end, the film that has the most category points wins Horror Face-Off. But the panel needs to think fast, for they only have a limited time to make their case. If they take too long, they will be killed.
A sultry Leighanne kills them. Like that. Hi Leighanne, how are you?
Hey, good, how are you?
I'm good. You ready to get slashing?
Oh, I'm going to be doing some slaughtering, I think.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to give you an extra amount of time to slash people, because we are going to throw around to the panelists, and they're each going to get a limited amount of time to promote themselves. If they go over that time, they get killed, and they have to stop talking. All right. So we'll start off with Uncle Pete.
Hey, how you doing, Jason? So, yep, I'm your friendly neighborhood Uncle Pete. You can find me on YouTube under Your Friendly Neighborhood Uncle Pete. You ever watch a movie, you see people are really stupid in it? That's what I talk about in my series, Nails in a Coffin.
Kill!
I talk about the stupid decisions.
That was a stupid decision.
That was impressive.
Just kidding.
You got it in. All right. We'll go to Nightmare Christie.
Hi, I am Nightmare Christie. I'm co-owner of Nightmare Toys and Nightmare Cafe, which you can find on all social media, and you can find Nightmare Christie on Instagram, Twitter, and OnlyFans.
Oh, not even. She didn't stutter once. You're good. You've done this before.
I've done that before.
All right, and we have a first timer on the show, and we're really thrilled to have with us Sydney. So you're up.
What's up, everybody? Hi, I'm very happy to be here. Follow me on TikTok. It's horror_chronicles if you like horror movies, and if you're not following me, you're lame. Thanks. Bye.
All right. So now that some of you have been insulted by our panelists, you're ready to listen to hear what they have to say. So let's get going. So we're going to start off this matchup with what we always start with, plot. And for this, we will start off with Uncle Pete.
This was one of the easier ones in the categories. I have to give it to Saw because there's so much going on with Saw. It's really dynamic. You got all these different locations going on, but everything's weaved together so well. Everything ties into each other at the end. The way it jumps from location to location, different points in time, it works so well. All the characters in the film, they all have a specific role to the plot. In Terrifier, you're either art or part of the body count and Carnage Candy. Saw keeps you on your toes the entire time, and it never really loses the viewer while they're doing this. When you're trying to weave everything together, it never loses the viewer, but it keeps you on your toes the entire time.
Kill!
Nice. You're dead. Yeah. Well, it counts. Carnage Candy. That was awesome. I like that. All right. We'll go to Christy.
I do have to agree with Uncle Pete. I go with Saw. Again, it's very creative. It's smart with its story. In Terrifier, there's not really much of a plot. It's just a scary clown just kind of killing people just because he's crazy and demented and he thinks it's funny. As to where Saw, the plot is smart, and you have all these different characters with all their different backstories that intertwine with each other, and then you have one huge big story. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Saw.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That was close. I saw her clutching her knife.
I'm gonna get you. I hope this episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sydney, you got the hang of it, right?
Yep.
You're good to go? Okay.
I'm good to go. Yeah, I agree with everybody. As much as I love Terrifier, I agree there's not really much of a plot to it, which doesn't stop me from watching it ever. But Saw also has one of the greatest plot twists in horror history. And it also is just like the beginning of a setup for one of the most intricate like plot lines in horror history as well.
All right. So there we go. We got through round 1. And now we'll move on to setting. And for setting, we will start off with Sydney. You're back up for setting.
All right, so for this one, I have to go with Saw. Again, both settings are super, super run down, and it looks like I'm going to catch a disease just by like stepping a toe into them. But I have to go with Saw for this one because I feel like people who haven't even seen Saw know where the bathroom's from. So like just like the iconicness of that one room is what puts that like Saw ahead for me in this category.
All right. Christy.
I have to agree with Mia. I'm going with Terrifier on this one. Again, you've got what you think is warehouses, old rundown bathrooms and all that kind of thing going on. But for me, Terrifier in a more realistic way, going down all those back alleys and in the basement and all the other crazy places they're going. Yes, it looks like you will catch a disease or some kind of sickness that's very germy looking. I hate that. And I did like the pizza place too. I did write that down as well. And it being at Halloween time and having that Halloween-esque creepy.
Yeah. We finally got you.
Good job. Good job. All right, but well said, and that's what matters. And now we'll close out the round with Uncle Pete.
See, what Terrified does, it does well. That bathroom scene, it really makes you feel gross and uncomfortable. But Saw has got so much going for it. You got the washroom with Dr. Gordon and Adam. You got Jigsaw's little lab layer where the one guy was, about to get killed, and that goes under these tunnels, goes to the washroom. You got all the settings of the kills, the reverse bear bear trap, the razor wire trap, the immolation room, all these different places. It's like all parts of a jigsaw puzzle. And that's all these settings just gives you that one big puzzle of Saw with all these wonderful settings that have so much going on for them in all the little different areas.
Kill!
Nice. You got.
What was the answer on that, though?
Oh, Saw.
Saw?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kill first, ask questions later. I like it.
Exactly.
Awesome stuff. All right, so we got a little bit of a battle on our hands, and for the next category, we'll go to filmmaking. And for those of you watching for the first time, filmmaking is where we encompass everything from score to cinematography to filmmaking. It's all piled up into here, as well as effects and all that kind of gooey goodness for these two films. So for this one, we're going to start off with Sydney.
Oh my God, I'm so nervous to get killed. Okay, so for this one, I have to go with Saw. First of all, I think Saw has one of the best horror scores ever. Just like the sound of that music gives me such like this feral reaction that a lot of music doesn't do for me. And I know both movies were running on like such a super low budget, but I think Saw did a better job at seeming like it wasn't on that low of a budget. Just like with the like cinematography and everything like that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm nervous. I don't want to get killed. That's it.
Don't be afraid to get killed.
I panicked.
Okay, well, that's another element in this show for sure.
It just makes me want to kill you more now.
Oh,
The more I know you don't want it, the more I want it.
The more you're like waiting. Great.
Don't be afraid to die. I feel like you literally had like 8 more things to say, but you just aborted the list and just said
my brain usually like goes too fast for my mouth to keep up with anyway. Like I just
Yeah, mine does that too.
All right. Well, just some good news. If you die on the show, you still stay on the show. So we'll still keep you on.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind
All
for
right.
the next one.
All right. I'll show you how dying is done. Uncle Pete.
I'm also going to go with Saw. Got to give a nod to Damon Leone. What he wanted you to feel, you felt. But again, that score, as soon as you hear those first couple of notes, you just know it. It hits you. It reminds you. I can't remember the score from Terrifier. You had all the performances in Saw. You got the dreaded Pirate Roberts trying to cover up his English accent, but he was still a captivating character. Adam, you wanted to know about all these characters. And the way he took, normally when a film is like, most of it was in that one gross bathroom. Normally a single setting film, it's hard to work, but he made it work the way it was filmed. He made it feel bigger and like while still making you Saw.
While still making you what? Damn, my own rules are pissing me off now. All right, well done. Christy, you ready?
All right, so this was a little bit hard for me, but I do agree with everybody else. I'm going with Saw. Although, yes, Damien did a great job with Terrifier. I did like how gritty and raw he made that and made it look like something from, like the 80s or 70s, like VHS, like you're watching. And I love that. But like with Saw, and everybody made good points, the whole thing was just smart. And the music, like you said, is perfect. You're ready. You think something's about to happen, and you don't know what's about to happen. Like, ooh, something's going to happen. And I like all the different stories. So then all the different scenes for all the different stories for all the people too. It is just.
Oh, looks like you were dying to say something there.
Yeah.
All right, but did you get her answer?
Oh, I did.
Okay. All right. Maybe you could get creative and sneak that into a different answer down the road. We'll see. All right. Yeah. So that was filmmaking, and we move on to characters. Now, I would like to remind everybody that there is a category for antagonist. So, that being said, let's keep characters to the happy people. All right. Well, actually, I guess one of the antagonists is pretty happy, right? But anyways, let's forget that. All right. We'll start off with Uncle Pete.
So I know we got the antagonist, but he's the only name I can remember from Terrifier. No disrespect to those other actresses. I don't remember their names as fondly as I remember Art. With Saw, which is my pick, you got John Kramer, Dr. Gordon, you got Adam, you got Zepp, you got Tap, you got his wife, you got Dina Meyer as her character. You get all these different wonderful characters. Again, more jigsaw pieces to the one greater puzzle. Art, as big as he is, as great as he is, I don't remember anybody else's name in the movie. Saw it. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Sydney, you're up.
All right, so I agree with Uncle Pete on this one for kind of different reasons, because I feel like I don't really have any emotional connection to the characters from Terrifier, because like Tara, who you think is going to be the final girl, ends up getting killed off. Whereas like when Adam like is saying goodbye to Gordon and he's saying, please don't leave me, it literally breaks me to my core, and I don't have that connection to the characters from Terrifier. So it's Saw for me.
All right. Christy, bring it home.
All right, so I am going with Saw as well. The characters just have more meat to their story. And again, the word depth, they have more depth to their story. The characters in Terrifier are just a little bit boring. There's nothing really too interesting about them. You don't remember them. You don't remember their names. Watching it, I kind of forgot about the sister towards the end. I forgot all about her coming to find the sister. They're kind of forgettable. But yeah, all the characters in Saw, they have like more depth to their story, and they're just more likable and more realistic too, and not boring.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, all good. Locked in, and we're moving on to the next round. I'll tell you, Terrifier has some work to do at the halfway point here, but let's see if it can rack up some points here. Scare factor. Which movie scared you more? And we'll start off with Uncle Pete.
This was probably the toughest category. Terrifier, there's some images I really don't want to see again myself, because it's just so horrific. And as big as those kills are, as gory as they are, I have to give the edge to Saw, because Terrifier, I look at it as just shock value. But you have the immolation trap. When I watch a horror movie, I put myself in the position of the victim. Am I going to be scared in there? And, you get the immolation trap. I'm like, it makes you nervous, with the reverse bear trap. You got that timer counting down. Surely there's so much time. It keeps you on your edge. You know, immolation. I'd be panicking not to turn into a discount Johnny Storm. It just keeps you on an edge because the time part. You got this time ticking down.
Time is ticking.
What so you put yourself into the victim. What does it say about me that I'm always putting myself into the killer's point of view?
Yeah.
Let's not go there. All right. So we'll move on to Christy.
Scare factor. This was a hard one for me too, but I am going to go with Terrifier on this one. With Art the Clown, I know we're going to talk about antagonists, but with Art the Clown, and if he was coming at you, like realistically, that's very, very scary in what he's doing to you. You watch him doing what he's doing to you. In Saw, you don't know, in this particular one now, you don't know what John Kramer looks like. You don't know what the killer looks like. You don't really know anything yet. You don't know nothing. So because of the not knowing, I think that Terrifier is scarier than Saw.
All right. Okay. It sounded like you were debating yourself a little bit there.
No, I was just like, I don't know.
You pulled it around to Terrifier. We're good.
Terrifier.
Okay. Awesome. All right, Sydney, you're up.
All right, I have to go with Terrifier on this one too, mostly because I agree with Uncle Pete in that, like, I put myself in the victim's positions, and like, at least with Saw, you have a chance. Would I cut my limb off to get out of this? I don't think I have that much of a will to live, so probably not. But like, Art the Clown is going to kill you, and he's going to like it, and he's going to laugh at it, and there's no way out of it. So that alone is much scarier, and just that scene where he turns, like, they turn around and he's covered in blood just smiling, I would probably drop dead on the scene. He wouldn't even get the chance to kill me. So it's Terrifier.
All right. So we're moving along. Terrifier made up some ground. Let's see if it can make up some more ground in this next category. This one, I am, sometimes, certain matches, this category doesn't exactly strike the way I'd like it to. I think in this one it should. So we're going to move on to kills and which movies kills spoke to you. And for this one, we will start off with Christy.
This one was kind of easy for me. Definitely Terrifier for this one. The kills are just a lot more gorier and more sadistic, and with Art just laughing and think that they're hilarious what he's doing. And he doesn't just stab someone once, he stabs someone 50 times over and over laughing about it. And then, then he does what he does to himself. I don't know. I just think it's a lot. I don't know. I like the kills a whole lot better than in Saw, because there's not a whole lot going on in this particular Saw right yet. So for me, I have to go with Terrifier.
All right. You look like apologetic.
No.
I thought you wanted to be killed. You were like straddling along, and I was like,
I can say why, because I love both movies, obviously, but I'm a really huge Saw fan, so I guess it kind of makes me kind of when I'm going towards Terrifier. But I mean, I'm giving honest answers, though. Obviously.
Guilt. It's guilt. Okay. All right. Now, at least it's explained. All right. We were. That was the one time we were gonna be. If we didn't ask, then we'd be analyzing your performance to find out what was your motivation there. I'm glad we kind of dug into it. Uncle Pete, you're up.
I'm giving this one to Terrifier, because I covered all the Saw movies on my channel, going through every single kill. After a while, they all kind of blended together. Okay, what movie was that kill from? And that's why I built Saw. As much as scary as those kills are, but the kills from Terrifier. That one where the young woman is upside down, you don't think you're going to see what's going to happen. He's just laughing the entire time. That strikes you to your core. Like, you've never seen anything like that. You don't want to see anything like that again, because it just makes you feel all kinds of uncomfortable. Scary as Saw was, I didn't feel that. I felt super uncomfortable watching those kills in Terrifier. Like, what the hell is he going to do next? How's he going to top that? And just laughing the entire time.
Just like Leighanne, laughing and killing. Laughing and killing. All right. Well, here's someone who knows how to cheat death. Sydney, you're up.
So far, so good. Okay. This was probably the easiest one for me. I definitely have to go with Terrifier, if nothing for the upside down kill. I think that is like one of the most iconic kills in horror history. I also like that Art uses like a variety of weapons. So he uses like the rusty hacksaw, he uses a gun. At one point he has like the whip with like the scissors on the end of it. I think he uses like a shoe at one point. So he's got this variety, and again, like he's gonna enjoy it and he's gonna be laughing in your face while he does it, and that's just like so sadistic to me, and I love everything about it.
All right, Terrifier's making this a match now. It's getting real close. So we'll move on to the next category, and it's antagonist. So for this one, we will start off with Sydney.
Shit, I was hoping I wouldn't go first on this one because this is the hardest one for me. And honestly, as I'm speaking, I don't even have a clear answer. I think ultimately I'm going to go with Jigsaw because I think I love a smart killer and like a sophisticated killer as much as I love Art the Clown and just how gory and relentless and like sadistic he is. I just love that John Kramer plays like this long game evil, and like he still gives you a chance. So like technically, is he even a murderer? Like, can we even consider that he's a murderer? I feel like there's a work around that. And like he does it to people who deserve it up until a certain point, but then like these apprentices and just like the manipulate shit.
We got you. We got
Yes. Let's all look at Leighanne and watch her enjoy this moment.
I almost made it.
Amazing.
I almost made it.
But you didn't.
But you know
so.
what? We love you more now. Now you're one of us.
Yeah,
Now I'm
you're
really
one
part of
us.
this. Yeah, I've been killed.
Once you've been killed, then you don't care anymore, and you just keep going for it. So
suddenly I'm like,
look
why
at
was
Uncle
I
Pete.
panicking?
Exactly.
It's like I get killed all the time.
Uncle Pete tried to be the hero a couple of times, and now I don't think he survives one category. But,
I got passion.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Christy, you're up. Antagonist.
Okay, so this was a hard one for me too because, again, I do love John Kramer, and like Sydney said, he's smart with his kills. But going against each other, I'm gonna have to go with Art though, because like just picture this: if you had John Kramer and Art, John Kramer might just sit there and kind of talk to him about it, and Art's gonna be like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna chop your head off, or just do this, do whatever." So I think he's scarier than John. And again, I mentioned this before. You see Art the Clown. You know that Art the Clown is your killer. You don't know that John Kramer is your killer in Saw. So I find that a little scarier too. So go with Art.
Christy's cracking me up on this episode. All right. Okay, Uncle Pete. Speaking of bad boys, look at this.
Yeah, I wish.
Look who's left.
Art the Clown is brutal. He's vicious. He's violent. He's a killer. He's unkillable. He doesn't speak. I've seen that before. I haven't seen anybody like John Kramer in a horror movie, how calculating he is. Like Sydney said, he plays the long game. He has a plan if you survive. He has a plan if you die. He has a plan to trap you. He has this person doing this. Again, I'm going to use my another analogy. All these little different puzzle pieces. He's a genius. He's like planning 5 movies in a row ahead of himself right now. Art, I've seen it before. Unkillable, silent. I've never seen anything like John Kramer before in a horror movie.
We've seen that before.
You're not a killer.
So you just stop caring.
We've seen that before. Well put. I like the pointing out the redundancy of Art, who's like become an instant kind of classic horror icon. All right, so we're moving on to movie poster. Which original movie poster did you like? This is obviously, like a lot of the other categories, very subjective. But for this one, we will start off with Christy.
Okay, so for me, movie poster, I'm going with Saw. That one just catches my eye more. It's more interesting to me because you have the word Saw and then you have a leg and an arm. And you're like, well, what's happening here? What's going on with these body parts? And what's sawing and what's going to happen? Like, who's sawing who? The cover of Terrifier, it just says Terrifier and it has this scary clown. And that doesn't seem very interesting or intriguing to me, like I would want to watch it like I would Saw. So for me, the poster art has to be Saw.
All right. You got it in. All right, Uncle Pete.
when you look at a movie poster, you want like, okay, what is this movie going to be about? What's this poster telling me? Terrifier. Okay, evil, scary clown's probably going to kill people violently. Saw. You see a foot. You see a cut off foot in this like a cold background. I'm like, okay, whose foot is it? Where did the foot come from? Who cut it off? Why did they cut the foot off? It's called Saw. They sawed off. Are they going to saw off a foot in the movie? I have all these questions. I'm waiting to find out when I watch this movie Saw. Is it going to be somebody who just saws off body parts like that? There's a horror movie in like the early 90s, late 80s called Body Parts. And it's like, is it going to be like that? Are we losing? So it tells you, it gives you just a taste.
All right. So I think I'm stating the obvious, but you went with Saw, correct? All right. Just making sure. Sydney, to end the round.
All right. And if I looked at both of these posters and I didn't know what either movie was about, like, yes, I see Saw and I see like a severed limb, but I'm just like, okay, that just looks like some like early 2000s like low budget horror movie. But then I see Terrifier and I see this like evil creepy clown with these like bloody teeth, and I'm like, what does this clown do? Does he eat people? Like, I need to know more about him and his life choices. So like for me, I would be way more inclined to watch Terrifier than I would Saw had I not known the plot of either.
All right.
Still alive.
Still alive.
But still dead.
But still.
Right. We're not yet. We
Quick
can't
to
get
point
past
out, Sydney, she loves her job. So
I understand why.
Yeah. All right. So we're off to the last category of this heated match. I think it's pretty close. So which ending do you like? And we will start off with, since he forms everybody's opinions from time to time, let's start off with Uncle Pete so we don't have any regrets at the end of this round. All right, buddy, you're
This
up.
was no contest. Saw. Jigsaw stands up. He's been there the whole time. You got Adam screaming into the darkness, slams the door. Game over. It's so much going on to process. Him standing up. Adam just killed Zep. Adam is screaming. Game over. Who is this guy? What happens? Who is Jigsaw? What happens to Dr. Gordon? With Saw, it leaves you wanting more after being so satisfied, which kind of reminds me of something. But yeah, it's Saw all day long.
All right. And he survives. All right, Sydney, this is your last chance to state your claim.
All right. Yeah, I agree with Uncle Pete on this one. This one was a super easy one for me. Honestly, like if I could pick one movie that I would like erase my memory of to watch again for the first time, it might be Saw. Because again, I think that is just like one of the greatest plot twists in like not even horror, but just like cinema history. And just the shock when he first stands up, I want to experience that again. Whereas like Terrifier, I don't even really remember the ending. I've seen the movie a million times, like the ending just doesn't stick out. But Saw at the end, it's just so iconic. Absolutely wins.
Awesome. Christy.
Yeah, this was easy. Saw for me as well. Both endings, you got a little bit of a shock value, but I think with Saw, it's more of a shock value. With Terrifier, you know, he wakes up, okay, fine, he's still alive, but there wasn't much of a story, really wasn't much of an ending, really, and you got way more of an ending with Saw, and you were more intrigued. Oh my God, what's going to happen next? What's happening? He just stood up. He's about to walk out. What's going to happen to the dude in the bathroom? What's happening to the other guy that just crawled out with one leg? I mean, what's going on with all this? And, you know, what's happening? So you don't really get that with Terrifier. Like, I really didn't really care if there was another one on.
Nice.
A lot of
Thanks.
depth from you this episode. I like it.
Yeah.
Yep. She's got stuff to say. It's always great to end with a kill, and that's what we just did. And so this one's in the can. We've wrapped it up. So Leighanne's doing her addition. Simple addition. Sorry, I don't mean I'm gonna buy you some time here. But in the meantime, we introduced this not too long ago. We have a hot take of the match. We'll call it the bloody take. And finishing second place, one of the comments I really enjoyed was Sydney saying how she would have no will to live. Her will to live would not be strong enough to saw herself, which is fair, but the way you said it was very nice. But the winner, and I think I think, Uncle Pete, you're a 2-time champion. And this goes back to the filmmaking when you made reference to the Dread Pirate Roberts, which is obviously from The Princess Bride, which is one of my favorite films of all time. And so that one didn't go over my head. A few things did, but other than that, good job. And do we have a winner, Leighanne?
We do, and it ended up being more clear cut of a winner than I was anticipating at the middle because it did start getting back and forth. But you have a strong winner in Saw.
Saw, yeah, I kind of figured it. So it was funny because it was like a boxing movie, right? Like Saw came out like really fast, and then like Terrifier started cutting into it and like taking it down a little bit, but in the end, Saw kind of, I guess, with the sweep at the end, especially. I think, my opinion doesn't really matter, but I think the better film won. So I'd like to thank, obviously, Leighanne for killing all my guests.
Of course.
It's a great job. I'd like to thank all the panelists for joining us and providing such awesome insight into these films. I appreciate it very much. And finally, we'll just wrap it up with a throw to our next show, which will be Shaun of the Dead versus Cabin in the Woods. A little bit of comedy horror for everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode.